Okay, so today I'm going to show you basically how I braze on a very small scale. I was just running a few tests, so it's a little messy, but this is a work in progress because it's how I do it. It's not technically how everyone else does it. Basically, what you need to do it my way is well, safety first. So basically, you need good sunglasses. You need to have UV protected. This pair just happens to be polarized, which makes it a real pain when looking at the camera screen. But because the arc from the nitrogen in the air generates a lot of UV, so you can go blind from that. So that's what the sunglasses are for. Plus, it's just pretty darn bright anyways. So to actually see what you're doing, you need them. Welding goggles or mask would be preferred, but since I don't have one of those right now. You also need carbon. You need carbon res such as this one, which I've got in here. I got that one out of a pencil. As you can see, the trick is water, as I spray it everywhere. Basically soak them in water. I happen to have one in here, just to try for heat, do a test on whether hot water that makes an effect. I should think that it would help, but I don't know for sure, so that's why that one's in there. Basically just to allow the water to get in, is if you'll look on the tip, the pencil is made in two halves, you can kind of see there. You want to strip the paint off the edge, and you can see it's a lot easier to see there. It's got that crack in there. If you're lucky and you strip it down like most of the way, and then soak it in that fashion on both sides, with it stripped on both sides. I've had a couple where I just had them overnight without actually stripping the paint, and it separated on itself, giving you a carbon about yay long. Absolutely no breakage, and it's rather nice. The trick with these carbons is they're not like I've got over here a couple. This is one of them that I tried using at one point, but this is actually for carbon to strike an arc with. It's specifically blended so that it's basically pure carbon and it doesn't have anything else in it, so that it doesn't off gas and then explode, which this stuff does because they have all this binder. And like if you have like 2H, number 2, number 3, hard black, whatever, they have different amounts of binder and clay, which basically burns off, and you want to take it slow when first heating it up to burn that off. And part of the problem I was having earlier was I was exploding a lot of them because I had too high an amperage coming out of my variac. There's another thing you need that basically is variable AC variac. Preferably with a fuse, which I blew out quite a few earlier with. And basically it allows you to control your voltage and your arc strength. That's very helpful when warming up the carbon because you can keep it low and then slowly, gradually heat it up until it can reach full, until all the bad stuff's burnt off, and you can heat it up full temperature with minimal risk of exploding. It's still there, but it's not entirely. And that's where this thing comes in to limit your amperage. It's basically, I've got what is it? Epsom salt. I don't know if you can see that. I basically just added that to the water and made a saturated solution. The carbons, this is actually from a humidifier. Basically, it creates a big resistance cell. You can use that in making a carbon arc furnace, but this is where I'm using it for making an arc for this to limit my current. Current is nice if you can get some real carbon. The Variactus was not supplying enough amperage to be able to take this. I blew about 5 fuses trying to get that to work. So basically that works great. You'll also need for brazing, which this is where did I put that? Did I put that in my pocket? You also need copper wire. Any type of copper wire should work, preferably thinner, which you can always twist up to make bigger. And you'll need a flux. You can kind of get it to work with the just plain copper wire, but borax works really well for a flux. It helps keep it clean and allows it to bind a lot easier. And basically, yeah, I've got pencil soaking here, and I love it. I can do it again. Okay, so that's borax. I got the yeah, flux, which is the borax, your workpiece. This is just my workpiece right now. As you can see, I've tried, been testing a little bit. Got a little bit to work yesterday, but it was a bit of a pain to do. I think that's all. You want to have one terminal be your workpiece, so that's just clipped here, which conducts through to that. You want to make sure that your thing is insulated against this. Gotta be careful though, because I did burn a hole through it. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can burn a hole through it, and that's not pleasant. Smoke up this room, make it smell nice though. I think that's about it that I can think of. So just remember, be very careful and safe, and if you try this at home and get hurt, don't blame me for it. I wouldn't recommend it. I'm doing this. I really should be wearing gloves. I burnt myself yesterday. At least it doesn't hurt today. And it's not a third-degree burn. That's just, well, that's where I burnt myself. Yeah. That's not a third-degree burn. That's just graphite. Whatever. Be very careful. It's high voltage. Don't want to electrocute yourself and burn yourself. Electrical burns are always nasty. Where's my wire, guys? I think I dropped it somewhere. Also, a headlamp is really nice if you can get one to work with, because from behind the glasses it's really bad. Oh, there. Yeah, you've got your filler, as my dad calls it, which is basically this copper wire. Okay, so it's easier to work with. Basically what you want to do is, this is a pretty much fresh carbon. I just ran it for a touch, make sure everything is working. Basically, start off at 0 when you're warming up the carbon for the first time. Turn around, make sure you're not gaining power. Turn up to around 10. And this is where the slow stuff begins. And if you look up your glasses around 10, you should start seeing little sparks. That's good. If you don't, turn up a touch more, and if you still don't see anything, basically your fuse is blown or something else. You gotta check for that. I'm running right about 20 now, I believe. Yeah, 20 volts. Basically allowing the gear a little arc, and trying to get this up slowly. As you can see, it's burning off, and I've had it before where, when I was doing explosive runs, I had a lot more current running through it. It'd heat up a lot faster, and basically start off-gassing so much that if I pulled it off barely, or created a spark, it would actually catch it. It was actually a lovely little flame. And the really cool part was if I made more contact with it again, the flame would grow because it would be off-gassing faster from the applied heat from the electrical current. So you'd have an electrically controlled flame. Really nice. You're supposed to slow. Start getting warmer. Crank it up a touch more. Basically, the moral always turn it off before touching anything. Well, and make sure it's cool, which I didn't do, but I've done this before, and I found that I've come to judge it. If you're going to do it, always make sure. But for me, I just kind of wing it. And it's really not right, and that's why I got burned earlier. Well, actually, I got burned earlier because I breathed on the plasma arc. Well, it's really kind of cool, but it hurt. Fluid plasma on my hand wasn't fun. And there, you should start to see it glowing. Yeah, it is glowing a little bit. You can't really see it through the glasses, but also the glasses protect from shards that may fly off, and hot metal that may be flying off. I'm just kind of holding that there because I can't. I'm not adding any flour right now. Basically, before you're going, when you're going to braise two parts together, like as in soldering, I'm just going to call it tinning, even though it's not. It's not even silver. But I'm just going to call it that because that's what it's called in soldering. You know how you, when you go to solder two wires together, you tin them first. You get them soaked in the metal that you're binding them with, your solder, or in this case your braze, or your filler, your copper wire. You want to get that on there because that'll adhere nicely and create a wider surface area, and a lot easier to control it that way. Oh, I got that pretty nice and warm. Bring that up a bit higher. This arc coming off somewhere around 60 volts, something like that. 30, 40, 50, 55, 60, somewhere in there. I can't really see around it. There, it's trying to give a good arc. A bit more. Yep. That was it. Basically what you want to do with your filler, you're going to dip that in some water. Oh, hello. Careful, it will arc across stuff. Turn your variac off. That's probably your best bet.